Okay, so this video is to show where my gusset kits go. This is JT Engine Works. It's my gusset kit. This is an option. This is the option for this upper pipe mount. If yours is busted off, this is what I recommend. It's made out of 4130. It mounts up like that, takes the place of this. This has to be completely taken off, and you use this as a template. If you don't need to take that off, this can be used as a gusset. I have this tapered screw like this. Comes from I want to say it's the YZs. Some of the CRs have these as a holder bolt for the shift linkage or shift ratchet mechanism. We'll center this piece for you. You put it in this hole. And that keeps you centered up so that you can center both holes, and it'll work as a template to put this on. So you put this, or you cut this off of there, put this in place like that, up behind there. With this already bolted on, you line this up at the top, and it'll line up your bolt hole there. And these two are lined up, and then you slip that piece in behind it, tack weld it with another one of these tapered bolts holding you centered, and there you go, you're right where the factory one was. Okay, so this here is the upper linkage mount one, goes right there. I've got it stamped JT, and it will weld in right there. This one I've got marked KX, and it will mount right there. This is to beef up these linkage tabs, which have a tendency to crack off. You can see that one looks a little bit cracky. So anything you see like that, where there's a little bit of a crack line or anything that's questionable, just have them TIG that up while you're at it. If I take a look at these mounts, you can see a crack here, and Kawasaki didn't even finish their weld across here, and then there's a big gap there, a big gap here. All those I recommend you weld up. You can see the gaps on this one as well, and then a crack right there on this one. So moving on, this is the lower left. You can see it marked lower left. This one's marked GU, and it goes right there in the bottom. So basically you set it in place, tack weld it, obviously with a sandblasted frame before you powder coat. Just get it in there. It's relieved a little bit for the chain wheel. This one's relieved a little bit for the chain itself. So this one, its little friend, this one goes here on the lower right side. It's marked RU, and if I can do this slick enough, this one is marked R on the outside, and it slips right in here, tacks after that lower one's mounted. Then you tack this one into place, and it will complete that corner there a little bit and give you some structure out here on this side. Hopefully you can see that. It'll be right in this area right here, and this is the piece. So that here, that one there. Okay, so this one marked KX and this one marked JT. The JT one goes on the back here for this lower radiator mount. Hopefully you can see what's going on there. And then the KX one mounts here. This is to beef up the lower radiator mount. These tabs, the way they made them, really thin, kind of flimsy, and they tend to crack off. these ones especially. These two are for this upper tube here. They weld in like that. That one's marked J, and then this one was marked T. And mounts here, opposite side. And I kind of made on my diagram here a little picture here of that tube. And this one mark K and X. The X goes on the right side like that. The K goes on the left side like this underneath the bolt. And if you're looking at the subframe mounts here, here, there, and there, this forms a triangle coming out to the end. Most of the weight is going down on this, so it's pulling back on this, and this is a pivot point right here. So as you're bouncing on that thing, it's shoving this back, but also down to an extent, because it's pulling down on it. It's pulling it back, trying to push these, but there's also a certain amount of force going at an angle. It's kind of a J shape. When imagine if this bolt broke off, it would come this way. And so basically what's happening to these is they're getting so much stress in this area that they snap off. And so we're beefing it up by putting a piece in here just to kind of help out the piece that's already here. And it's kind of a semi-angle, and it's not straight back because they chopped the frame off right here, but right here is as close as you're going to get to helping out this area here. So there's this piece, and if you notice there's a slight grind mark right there, and that's intentional. What that does is the top of your shock here will dome to a certain amount. I'll take this bolt out, and that dome of the shock needs to clear. When you weld this in across the front of that seam, that little dome piece, or that grind mark right there, will let the dome of your shock clear it. And then so you weld it across the top here, and then you weld it again across the back. And when you weld it across the back, that'll help structure this piece to hold this tube in there, so that it doesn't come out. Because keep in mind, if you flip your bike, or if your bike's rolling down a hill end to end, which God we hope not, then you bend your subframe all over the place, and it's torquing this and twisting this, and you might even flip it and shove this forward or whatever. So all of these things are trying to keep this on there, and yes, we have seen them break off. Also might add, this area in here is pretty kind of somewhat weak, and we've seen them break here, we've seen them break here, we've seen them break here. So we've also seen this break off, this break off. We're just trying to go through and trying to beef up everything that we possibly can. So if you see anything that looks suspect, have it welded. And in conclusion, I think that's pretty much it. So feel free to shoot me any emails at JT Engine Work, or yeah. I'm going to start that website here pretty soon, but I haven't done it yet. So you can shoot me an email at jt43tanner@aol.com. So anyway, hopefully that'll help you out. Catch you guys later.